Okay, I just realized I was a minute and a half in and realized I wasn't recording audio. Being an expert filmmaker is all about. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jorvik and I am the kind of founder of Vand Studios. As you can see on the channel, it's been a while since I've posted on this channel. It's been a couple years at least. And the reason for that is that I took a hiatus, if you will, from filmmaking. Recently, I have decided to pick this channel back up as well as get back into filmmaking, starting with doing my own short film. The last short film I personally directed and wrote was a short film called Listen Before I Go, and it's on the channel. You can go and see it. It's old. It's an old video. I think it's from like 2021 or 2020. No, I think it's from, it has to be from fall of 2020. 5 years, which is, well, I guess 4.5, but still, it's been a while. In today's video, I figured that I would go over my pre-production process, and just kind of talk about the steps that I take to plan, write, cast, all that kind of stuff. The reason why I'm throwing my hat in the ring for this type of video is because everyone does pre-production a little bit differently depending on what access to gear you have, the network you have, the story idea you have. There is a lot that goes into producing and editing and putting out a short film. And don't get me wrong, I have done a lot of short films in my time. A lot of them were not my own. Actually, since stepping back into the filmmaking world, I have done 2 short films this past month, just working on crew. I absolutely love the craft of film, filmmaking, photography, all that kind of stuff. So not only is the series just kind of like for me, to just kind of put my process out there, I hope that the series of videos will also help anyone who wants to do a short film or wants to get into the film industry. A lot of these videos will be just my personal experience. Again, everyone's experience is different, so I should preface that. We are going to be just talking about the pre-production process. In other videos, I'll go over like my camera gear, I'll go over location scouting, I'll go over casting, all that kind of stuff in future videos. So if you do not want to miss those, click that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. Alright, so we are here in my home office. So we're going to be going over the different programs and websites that I use personally in my pre-production process. I should mention that none of these websites or programs that I use are sponsoring this video. These are just programs that I generally like to use. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, everyone's process is a little bit different, but I'm sure there's a lot of overlap in terms of programs and websites. Take a shot for every time I say programs and websites. So when I generally get an idea, I like to carry, this is for every writer, I think. I like to carry a little notebook with me, something like this. That way when I'm out and about and inspiration strikes, I can write down something. Obviously you can use your phone app. I have notes on my phone, so if I don't have my journal with me, if I'm in a place where I can't really pull out a journal or a little notepad to write down, I'll just do maybe a voice memo, or I'll do a notes on my phone. And so that's kind of like where I start. I will get an idea and then I will write it in a notepad or notes, and then when I'm ready to develop the idea, I go to my first program that I use, and that is Google Docs. So as you can see here, a lot of this is going to be blurred because this is an entire document of all of my film ideas and notes that I have, but we're really going to be focusing on is this guy right here, Evermore. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier in the video, but Evermore is the title of the short film that I am currently working on. And it is a romance drama about a couple who is on a anniversary road trip. The car breaks down and they are forced to confront reasons why they love each other and reasons why they hate each other. There is a little bit of flashback sprinkled in there, but as you can see here, this is kind of where I start initially writing the notes. You can see I have 2 characters, Joanna and Marcus. and that is obviously the couple. And here I have just like a brief like log line summary, whatever you want to call it, on what this the short film is about. So on their 5th wedding anniversary, struggling husband and wife Marcus and Joanna go on a road trip to rekindle their love. After the car breaks down, they have a heavy heart-to-heart about their future. So more or less what I said earlier. And then here we have a general outline. Now, because a lot of like newer people that I talk to who want to get into writing, they always ask me, how long should the script be? And I'm in the camp of the script needs to be as long as you need it, to tell a story. Obviously, for short films, that line is generally cut off at around 40 minutes of runtime, and then after that, it's considered a feature. But as long as I like to stay between the 10 to 15 page script when it comes to smaller scale short films. I want to do another video that solely deep dive into screenwriting. I know there's tons of them out there, but again, everyone writes differently. Kind of how I gauge how long my short films are going to be is based on how long the script is. And of course, a lot of that is based on locations, if there's special effects and visual effects and so on, number of characters, but we'll get into that here in a bit. So that's pretty much where I start this process. And then most of my ideas don't even make it past this phase. I think most of my ideas I generally put in a Google Doc, and this is what this is. It's just a big 30 page just full of ideas and like world building notes for different things and yada yada yada. So after I get the initial plot down, I like to outline. In the novel writing world, which is a little bit different than screenwriting world, I'm what's called a plotter, for those people if you want to know. So I like to fully plan out, story from beginning, middle, end. I like to break things up into acts, and then I like to go as far as doing a little bit of world building, even though a lot of it is not what we're going to see in the short. I mostly do world building just for my sake, and depending on the story and the characters that I create, I do like to write up full biography for characters that I can then relay to the actors that I have casted in the short film. That way they have a better understanding of their character that they're trying to play. So let's move on to the screenwriting software that I use. Most people use Celtics, which is a big one I see a lot of film students use, which I find interesting. Obviously there is Final Draft that a lot of people, it's pretty much an industry standard writing software. But and this is something that I've used for many years, honestly probably a decade, is Writer Duet. Now I like Writer Duet personally, not just because the UI is pretty easy. Everything is right here on the side. Again, I've never used Final Draft, so I'm sure a lot of this is the same, but you have a bunch of just stuff on this side, and then when you get to actually writing, by the way, this is the script for the short film. The script is fully written. When you get to that, you can over here, you can open up the title page, then here's the title page, and here's all the information there. And then you can go back to the main document, and as you're writing, you have line types over here, and this is how obviously you write. So as you're writing, this is just a thing, so you can hit enter, and then you can hotkey whatever you need. So whether it's an action line, whether it's a note, parentheses, character, etc., you can hotkey it, which is nice. So this is the writing software that I use. Again, I've used this for almost my entire career. You can, if you don't, this is a free version. You can pay for it. You just have more things that you can do, like most softwares. But even on Google Docs, you can write a script on Google Docs, because I've done it. That's how I initially started, was writing in Microsoft Word, and then I transitioned to Google Docs, and then Writer Duet. But you can do it in here. It's not as intuitive as Writer Duet, Celtics, or Final Draft, but it can work if you are in a pinch. So once I write a draft, I always label it. I do the script color layout. It just helps me. So this is the white production draft. And if you don't know, there are different script colors if you are new to a lot of this, but obviously in the industry you know this. There are different script colors. So there's white, blue, green, I want to say pink, or no, it's white, blue, green, yellow, pink, and I think gold, and then I think there's some other colors, but I never get beyond like green. I generally get like 2 or 3 drafts in before I'm like kind of happy with what the script is. So again, it's very dialogue heavy, not a lot of action. It's just a thought piece that I had one day. So that's kind of it. So once I finish a draft is when I sort of start the actual pre-production process. And that takes us to our next program, which is Milanote. So this is Milanote. Again, not sponsored, but if you guys want to, you see this video, let me know. So as you can see, I have a few projects here. It's just some of the bigger projects that I've had worked on in the past. I have a Star Wars thing. This is a feature. This is another feature. Actually, these are all three of these middle ones are features, but here I have the Evermore short film pre-production page. So when we double click it, this is what it looks like. So as you can see here, there's a lot going on the page, so we're just going to kind of break this down. Starting on the left side, we have a production overview. So this is where we have like locations and like call sheets, and I have a checklist. So locations, we'll go into that in a second. Call sheet, obviously there's nothing there because we're not filming yet, and I haven't finalized casting yet. So that's where the call sheet will be. As you can see here, I have a checklist. So you can see here I had a script log, cast, and locations. I already checked this off because I have the script. As you can see right down here, I have a link to the script via the Google Drive. So if I share this with any other members of the crew, which I haven't brought on crew yet, and the cast, they have access to that. So let's go ahead. Over here we have the cast and crew section. So you can see here empty, but in this folder I would have like the headshots of the actors, obviously their name, their contact info. I'll also have their socials. I'll have all of their traits, like their height and their sizes, for wardrobe if need be, that type of stuff. So I'll basically just have like an actor's card here, and that'll be that. And then if we go back for crew, also crew, the only thing I'll have here is I won't have their headshots or any of their information. I'll just have their name, their role, and contact information, and all of that will be listed here. So here, director, me, Jorvik, producer, production companies, Van Studios. I just like to have that kind of listed here. And then down here is my kit. I don't have it pulled up on here, but if you click this link, Kit is a nice website where you can see basically everything that I have gear wise. So I have a camera kit, a little bit of a lighting kit, audio kit, and some camera stabilization. This used to be a lot fuller because in my previous production company we had way more stuff. I just sold a lot of it, but this is what I have right now. But I'm to the point now where I'm doing, if I'm hire a DP, I'll normally find someone who has their own kit, not like website kit, but like their own like film, like camera kit and all that. Same thing with lighting and audio. Normally, when you're kind of in the middle of like super professional and like entry level, you'll find people who are like dedicated to one job, which is super nice. So yeah, that Kit is another website that I use. If you are a cinematographer, there is a rig builder, which showcases all of, if you build camera rigs, which is something that I love doing. You can list all of the parts in there, and it'll give you like a summarized price. So if you share that, people can go and they can buy the entire rig build out that you put on there and build the exact copy of a rig. So if you have like a really dope rig that works and is really versatile, something to look into. People might really like that. Okay, so back on Milanote, this is next. We have like a mood and cinematography board, more or less the same. And we'll get to where I grab these screenshots from in a second. So the mood board is like overall look of the film from editing and post coloring. I will be editing this because I have a specific vision on what I want. I'll also be coloring it because again, I like these kind of darker blues, and then some of the for like the present day stuff, and then some of the flashback stuff I want to be a little bit warmer, just to kind of distinguish the present and the past. Next, in cinematography, we have shot ideas for important scenes. So some of the flashback scenes, some of these like wide shots. So this isn't really like the mood, this is more like camera angles. As you can see, since a lot of this will take place in the car, I have a car scene and then scenes of the couples together. Over here, here's the characters again, Joanna and Marcus. We have a synopsis up top, and then this is where I have the breakdown of Act 1, 2, and 3 from pages 1 to 5, 6 to 9, and 10 to 11. And this is kind of like what I discussed earlier. And that's pretty much it for Milanote, because this can really go back and forth depending on how you want to organize things. But this is just a nice like visual representation in like organization, I guess, of just all the information about your short film. So the last thing I want to show on this is locations. So this is what my location page looks like. I have external, and then I have a list of everything that takes place in external, and I label it whether they're day or night or both. And then I have the same thing for internal scenes. So everything that takes place internally, and day or night, or both. And that's kind of like how I visualize that as well. And then if you look down here for my external locations, I've already scouted them and I already like have them picked, and there are just some spots around the Denver area, and then there's one spot in the mountain, which is the lake overlook. It's a beautiful spot. It's going to be like the shot of the film, and I'm really excited for that. And then over here we have just like to be scouted locations. So a lot of these are internal stuff. I gotta find a bar location and a house or apartment location. Probably just use my house because I have a nice like big like living room and kitchen area, which is where some of those scenes are going to take place. And then I also have a studio space that has a bed in it, so if there's any like not naughty bed scenes, but there's any like scenes in a bedroom, we could shoot in that way we don't have to shoot in my bedroom or someone else's bedroom. So we do have that, and that's pretty much how I organize. All of these links are through Google Maps. So if you are a person here and you want to click on this link will take you to the point. This is in the Rocky Mountains here at Dillon Reservoir, and you can go down here and you can look at the photos. I mean, look at that view. This is kind of where I want that final scene to take place, because it just looks out over the valley, beautiful mountains, you got the lake down there, and it's just perfect. This is where I want those two scenes to take place. The proposal scene and the final scene take place here. So that's how I organize locations. Pretty simple, nothing crazy. And that's kind of it for Milanote. For my cinematographer people, my mood people, how I got these screenshots is yet another website that I use called FilmGrab. FilmGrab is a independent website where there's this team of people. They catalog basically all of these different films, from international films to old classic films, and they basically just do screenshots from the movie. So that's kind of how I find a look. So for example, like right here, The Magnificent Seven, this is from the 2016, this is the remake. So if I wanted to do a Western film, I would look at Western films. And so if I come here, here's the page. It gives you the director, Antoine Fuqua, and then we have the director of photography, production designer, costume designer, and then the year. And then here you can see all the different shots from the film. And so like if I wanted a shot like this, if I wanted to go down to Arizona or Utah and do a shot like this, I could just save this and put it in a board essentially, and you know, we could replicate this shot or just as inspiration. And this goes for any film. Like if you wanted to do let's see, let me find a good film. Some of these I haven't even heard of. I'm gonna have to check them out. There's actually times where I've seen films on here and I'm like, that looks cool, let me check that film out. If you were like, you know what, I really like this DP, you know, they do a really good job with these shots, let me click on their name. So if you click on their name, all of the films that are in the database, because they're constantly updating this website, is going to show up. So now we can see that this person also did the A-Team, he did The Killer, Spider-Man No Way Home, which is cool, Smoking Aces, Training Day, and Avatar. So then you can kind of go in and do that. But if you don't want to do that, you can go to Films A to Z. So if you have a particular film in mind, you can try to find it here. I think you can also search it. Yeah, you can search it up here. So say like I wanted to do, let's do Christopher Nolan. So then this will pull up all of Christopher Nolan shots. There's Oppenheimer, Tenet, Dunkirk, Following, Interstellar. So say you're doing a sci-fi and you're like, oh, I like some of the visual styles of Interstellar. Here you go. Here's some visual styles of Interstellar. So this is a great resource. I love Film Grab. I use it for every pre-production process. But of course, like as you like, the more like stuff you do, you know, the more visuals you have in your head on exactly how you want your film to look. And I think this is also just a really good resource, especially if you're newer. Like if you're a film student and or you're just newer to the film industry and you want to do cinematography, I've worked with people where we'll just take scenes and we'll just recreate them as like an exercise, which is something that a lot of people do. But yeah, it's the same thing here. I like this cinematography style, so I'm gonna go to this page to see what else they've done. Obviously they've done a lot of Christopher Nolan stuff, and then like, you know, there's Spectre, which is great, Ad Astra, another great film, there's Nope, Her. So you know, you can find some pretty good resources here, and that's pretty much it. Again, a lot of this is different for everyone. These are just the things that I use personally. Another thing that I use as well is, so here's something that I use Google Sheets, and this is how I create my production binders. As you can see here, there's characters, I have crew, I have a breakdown of all of the scenes, how many shots, how long it takes in the script, like how long in the script it takes. As you can see here, like 15 plus shots is not going to take 5 to 8 minutes. That's like the run time of the scene. And then I have like, you know, some details. I can do a separate video on like, this is gonna be like when I actually do the production binder for Evermore. We can kind of talk about this, but that is another resource that I use. So yeah, let me know down below if you're a filmmaker, what is your pre-production process? Do you use any of these programs or websites, or what other programs do you use? So yeah, so I hope you continue to join me on this journey. The next video in this series will most likely be talking about casting, and I might do some extra location scouting as well. But beyond that, the next big bulk of the video will probably be a behind the scenes video of like the actual shoot. It is currently mid-March at the time of filming this. Right now I don't plan on filming until around May, because here in Colorado the weather during the springtime is really hit or miss. Either it's going to be really cold and snowy, or it's going to be, you know, 70 degrees and bright and sunny, at least right now. So I'm gonna wait till like beginning of summer, because it won't take me long to edit. I'm a pretty efficient editor, I guess, and I want this film to come out by mid-July, which is when my birthday is. So yeah, so I'm gonna bring on someone who will do a lot of like filming content while we're shooting, so we can do a full breakdown of the film. That'll be it for this video. I want to say thank you for watching. If you made it this far, please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any of my other filmmaking videos. I know I want to do a camera rig video. I want to do some more like breaking down other videos and short films and stuff like that, and I also want to eventually, you know, look back at some of my old work and kind of break down and go through the thought process of how, you know, we shot it, how we wrote it, you know, etc., because I think that stuff is very, very interesting. Yeah, as always, my name is Jorvik, and I'll see you in the next one.